The Labor leader has tripped up again on the campaign trail, this time unable to lay out his own six-point plan to fix the NDIS. Live now to Trudy McIntosh, who's been following Anthony Albanese today in Sydney. Trudy, just talk us through what happened.
Well, Ash, we were here at Darling Harbour, the Sydney Convention Centre. Labor leader was here to talk up his own green credentials, but he was left red-faced after not knowing the details of one of his crucial policies at this election. That is about how to fix the National Disability Insurance Scheme. There are projections that we're going to see the NDIS, in terms of a yearly spend in the budget in the next few years, potentially outstrip the spending on Medicare. So it is a crucial policy for either side of government. How are they going to continue to make sure the NDIS is fully funded? Well, in April this year, Bill Shorten, the Shadow Disabilities Minister, outlined Labor's policy. 6 points, he said, that would help fix the NDIS. We can show you what they are here. It includes revitalising the NDIA, stopping the waste, boosting efficiency, stopping unfair cuts, just to name 4. Anthony Albanese asked in this press conference to name all 6, and he struggled.
In your speech later on today, you'll talk about the legacy of Labor leaders. One of those legacies is the NDIS. Yesterday, you talked about Labor's 6-point plan. What are the 6 points?
The 6 points are what we will do in terms was outlined by Bill Shorten. What that's about is making sure. What that's about is Well, if you let me answer the question, what that's about is making sure that we take pressure off people who are at the moment having their programs cut.
No, Mr Albanese, what are the other 5 points, Mr Albanese?
We will put people, it is all around the theme of putting people,
you are across your brief.
We will put people at the centre of the NDIS.
Mr Albanese was pretty keen to try and put these questions to one side. We know on day one of this election campaign he was unable to say the unemployment rate and the interest rate. Labor wanted to put those gaffes behind them, and today we see the fact that he's unable to name the 6 points of his own NDIS policy. What happened next, though, was very interesting at this press conference. While Chris Bowen, the Shadow Energy Minister, was talking at the podium, Anthony Albanese walks behind the journalists and the cameras. He speaks to his advisor. You can see him ask her to grab something for him. She goes and grabs an open document, some folders with papers for Mr Albanese. He comes back to the podium, and then we have this exchange. Just to clarify, do you not know what the 6 points are for the NDIS question that Mr Kersley just asked you? But also, sorry,
policy document.
Is this a sign that you don't know what one of your policy is?
Are they the 6 points?
Are these the 6 points here that had to be handed to you by your advisor?
Mr Albanese, that's not right.
Did you just ask for
You've just been handed the 6 points, Mr Albanese. What are they?
Our policy on the NDIS is to defend and fix the NDIS, lifting the NDIA staffing cap, doubling existing funding for advocacy, fixing regional access and stopping waste. No, we did. It's to put people at the centre of the NDIS.
And not the best look for the opposition leader there today, Trudy. It seemed like Anthony Albanese was getting a bit defensive about suggestions that he's trying to actually shield himself from some of the tougher questions.
Ash, it's been interesting to watch the strategy from the Labor leader in the last few weeks. He comes to press conferences with members of his shadow ministry. It's not always the case. It's very different with Scott Morrison. He often fronts these press conferences on his own. And we've noticed a pattern with Anthony Albanese. He can often punt questions to members of his front bench, even when they're asked directly to the Labor leader. They argue that this is fine. This is about bringing in members of your team and showing it's not all just about you. But given the gaffes that we're seeing, interesting that this strategy is being played out, I put it to him. We see this often in the last week or so in the campaign, that when you are stumbling on an answer, for example, you can bring in a shadow minister or you just defer to them immediately. Is that part of this strategy in order to not see the sort of gaffes we saw day one, but also, to be fair, the gaffe we've just seen today where you didn't know your own policy?
No, that's not right. I'm captain of a team. I'm very proud of the team that we have.
Labor point out that in Parliament, the Prime Minister often punts questions immediately to members of his front bench, questions that he doesn't want to answer. It would have been really interesting, Ash, to see if Bill Shorten was standing by his side today. Could he have punted the question to Bill Shorten, and it would have prevented this media drama today in terms of not being able to name a key policy?
Trudy McIntosh, fascinating stuff. Yes, we'll no doubt see some reaction from the coalition responding to that news conference with Anthony Albanese this morning. Thank you so much.